I know you're here because you want to know what's your life going to be like? What's this going to feel like this week? You've got to tell your friends, your family, get them to join us for this video today because we're going to be talking about the energy this week, which is we're going to be looking at eclipse season, the start of that. I've also asked our special guest astrologer today to take a look at the energy around Thanksgiving. I'm getting some mixed messages around Thanksgiving. So if you are somebody who's feeling this energy right now, please tell your friends, your family, share this YouTube link with them. Let's help prepare as many people as possible for this energy. All right. So let's begin, shall we? All right, I am already feeling this energy. I started feeling it yesterday, but we've got some big aspects coming up, and Shanna's going to talk to us about it. It's going to be fantastic. So comment and let us know. You can let us know what city and state you're watching from today, or if you're outside of the United States, which country are you tuning in from? Or if you want to shake things up a little bit, what's your sun sign in astrology? What is your sun sign? We are in Scorpio season right now. I'm feeling it. But a couple of quick mentions. And if you see the curtains moving, it's not a ghost. It's little Frankie down there. She's playing in the curtains right now. But we have a couple things I want to just quickly mention. A public service announcement, which is first. And it's so funny when I was preparing for the videos today, this public one and the one for the Spark Plug group. I had something happen yesterday. My Instagram account got spoofed again. And Instagram just doesn't really care, apparently, because they keep saying, it doesn't violate anything. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I sent a message out to a couple of people last night. And I'm like, can you report and block this other spoofed account? But it's actually right in alignment with the energy. The energy this week feels like people being a bit vindictive, a bit of attack energy. So it doesn't surprise me that it happened again. But I want to show you what our Instagram page looks like. And it's not to say it won't get spoofed. Fingers crossed. But if you see another account that's stealing our stuff, can you just report and block it? Just make sure it's not our actual account before you do that. But this is what our account looks like. All right, let me scoot over here. Okay, this is what it looks like. I'm pointing the wrong direction. This mirror. This is the account. It has 10.7 thousand followers. All right. So that's the good one. Follow Spirit and Spark, all spelled out correctly. And then if you see any imitators, imposters, please block them. It's like the most annoying thing. Like, don't you have anything better to do with your time than spoof people's accounts? It's just so ridiculous. So anyway, follow us on Spirit and Spark, all spelled out correctly. It's down below in the banner. I am going to be teaching a free meditation class, guided meditation class for gratitude, right in time for Thanksgiving. And I'm going to show you how to request to attend that because you want to set a reminder so you don't forget. So let me show you a quick video. You're going to go to spiritandspark.com and click on the class calendar and go to the 18th of November. And here's how you find it. And then you're going to set a reminder. So here we go. Wrong one. All right, so if you want to attend my free meditation for gratitude right in time for Thanksgiving, that is how you're going to redeem it. I'll also give you the links here in just a couple of minutes so you can set your reminder for that because I'd love to have you there. And of course, invite your friends, your family. That's going to be on November 18th. Okay, a couple more things before I talk about the energy and bring our fantastic astrologer on for this week. I am now taking applications for people that really want to dive deep into their transformation. And if you want to see if you're a good fit for it, there is a link that I'll include as well in the live stream chat, and I'll drop it below in the comments after we get done with today's video. But it's called Ignite Your Fire, and it's really helping people get from point A to point B. I've noticed in working with clients for years that a lot of people get stuck. Like they see where they want to go. They know what they want to manifest. They know what their dream is, but they're having a lot of trouble getting from where they're at now to where they know they could be and where they should be, frankly. And so I'll be taking a few people and doing calls with them and just kind of seeing if I'm a good fit. But first, you would need to apply. And so I can learn a little bit more about what you're going through, see if I'm a good fit. So I'll include that link as well. So we can talk about getting you from A to B. So that's cool. I'm excited. I already have people this week that I'll be talking to that have already said, Dallisa, that's me. How do I get there? How do I get there? Help me. So I'm looking forward to talking to you this week if you're one of those people that are already on my calendar. Okay. Tomorrow I'll be doing Tarot Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for YouTube channel patrons. So if you have clicked the join button on the YouTube channel, you are eligible to join me for that live broadcast, and I'll take your questions. So that is tomorrow, the 9th of November, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Next week, we have Tarot Tuesday with Jasmine. Christina's going to walk you through a relaxation visualization for the holidays, and Ashley's going to take you through a full moon meditation and Reiki circle. So we got all kinds of things coming up. All right. So yeah, let's talk about the energy. And I'm going to bring Shanna on. I know she's ready. She's chomping at the bit. Okay. So this week, the energy feels like, oh God, are you ready for this? Just take a big deep breath. You're here for a reason. We're going to get through this. Despair and depression. One thing I wrote down as I was channeling this morning for this broadcast is if you feel like you need help, like if you feel really in a place of despair, if you feel like you need a therapist, if you feel like you need, God forbid, like the suicide hotline, like this is the week where if you're feeling that, and next week even, please get the help you need. And I ask you that from the bottom of my heart, please get the help you need if you are feeling like you are down in the pit. This is not the time to try to force your way through the mud or the quicksand. If you feel in your heart that you can't really do it on your own anymore and you need a professional to help you, please, okay? You're going to be asked this week to really watch your outrage and your anger. So how can you channel that energy for good, right? We're spirit and spark. Spirit is, okay, what does the universe want us to know? What's the channeled message? What's the astrology? And then the spark is, what can you do about it? What's next? What's your next action item? So how could you channel your anger for good this week? What could you do to break up the energy of your anger? It's going to be a great week for leaning into whatever your spiritual practices of prayer, of meditation, of journaling, or walking outside in nature. So anchor into whatever those practices are that you've been doing thus far. You're going to need them. Okay. So also, what could be seen as a really positive, fruitful energy for this week is what could you do with your thinking around innovation or creativity? So this is a great week, I feel like, to brainstorm and to get a plan together. And if you've been thinking about starting a business, getting more of that framework together. Okay. What could you create? A spark question around the action. What do you do with this energy? You could even get out a piece of paper and a pen and ask yourself at the top of the piece of paper, if I could manifest anything, what would it be? And get really detailed. Like, what does it feel like? What does it look like? Incorporate your 5 senses. But if I could manifest anything, what would it be? Okay. I do feel powerful changes and high emotions this week. And that anger and that resentment, you've got to find a way to process that and change it into fuel. Like, how could you change that into something for good? All right. So I'm going to bring Shanna on. We're going to talk about astrology. I'm going to remember to pull a card of destiny. And then I'll be dropping the links in for everything I mentioned at the start of the call. All right. I sound like doom and gloom, don't I?
Well, I mean, it's not doom and gloom, but yes, everything you said is reflected in the astrology. So this week, it is. So we have. Oh,
yeah. Introduce yourself. Sorry, this is Shanna. You're brand new to the show.
I am, yeah.
And one of our other astrologers who comes on, Yelena Crawford, she connected us.
She did.
And said, you got to go on Dallisa's show. And so we connected, we had a little chat, and here you are. So we're going to tell everybody where to find you and all that jazz at the end. But I just at least first want to say hello.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you.
And you can find her Instagram handle scroll on the bottom. So make sure you go follow her on Instagram. While you're busy blocking and reporting all of my spoofers, you can go follow her on Instagram.
Yeah, that spoofer followed me, and I'm like, she already followed me on Instagram. What the heck is this? And I looked, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not spelled correctly. That's another one.
I know, they left out one letter.
Yeah, they did. And it's rampant across the board. So many psychics, so many astrologers. It's just across the board. People are trying to scam people. That's just fun.
And the worst part about it, I think one of the worst parts, because for me at the end of the day, like I can just keep reporting the accounts and stuff. My company is a registered trademark, so they could legally get in trouble for spoofing my account, which I hope to not have to take it there, but they just keep doing it. But the problem is now I've been alerted that somebody on one of the spoofed accounts is messaging people asking for money, like, oh, I'll do your reading for you.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, Spirit and Spark does not have really the time to be DMing you, asking you for cash. Like, that's just not our place on Instagram. We don't do that. It's not our vibe. So if anybody's asking you for money and it looks like it's from us, it's not.
Right.
So anyway,
that's across the board.
Happy day.
Well, but that's also the energy of what's going on too, because we're in Scorpio season, right? So of course, Scorpio gets such a bad rap, but there can be very interesting things that happen during Scorpio season. But this week specifically, we do have the Mercury and Mars conjunction happening at 7 degrees in square with Saturn. And at the time this is coming exact on Wednesday, the moon is with Saturn. So when you were touching on this grief and this melancholy and this depression, that's really what the moon and Saturn do. Like together, having the moon and Saturn creates that. So it's definitely, you hit that right on the head on that one. But really with the intensity that's happening with this square, because it's Mars and Saturn, we've decided that we're going to take action and we're going to go forward with something in this Scorpio area of our lives, right? And we're coming up against Saturn. Saturn is a brick wall. Saturn is saying, no, there are limitations. It's squeezing the essence out of Aquarius right now. In our chart, right? Like wherever this shows up for you in your chart, it's squeezing the essence out and leaving you with the minimum of what you need, right? So there can definitely feel like limiting factors. You're trying to move through this energy and you're not able to do it. And with this square happening between Mars, Mercury, Saturn, and the moon, it's really asking you to take a step back and really hone in on what it is that you are really trying to do, and to be dedicated, diligent, and conscious of your actions, right? So Mars square Saturn can be taking a conscious action towards something as well, not just running up against limitations and roadblocks and no, you can't do this, but it's also taking very diligent and very dedicated and focused action, right? Especially with that Scorpio energy. So being deliberate with what you're doing, right? And we also have that first
keep going. I'm loving this.
We also have the first quarter square the following day. So we had that really powerful super new moon in Scorpio ushering us into eclipse season, believe it or not, because we're having that eclipse next week in Taurus, right? So that's going to be really interesting, and I will talk on that. But this week, it's taking action from what was seeded at this moon. And I know for me, what was seeded, so whatever was going on a couple of days before and a couple of days after this new moon, there's action that needs to be taken on it. And so, yes, it can definitely feel in the moment really overwhelming and you're coming up against roadblocks. But this first quarter square is conjunct Jupiter, the great benefic, right? So it's definitely going to pan out in a good way. It might not seem so right now in the moment when we're experiencing it, but it definitely has the potential to become bigger and to grow, and to benefit in some way, right? Because we're talking about Jupiter. Jupiter is the great benefic of the zodiac. So there is that.
Yeah, I love it. There are people who are saying you're echoing. I don't hear an echo on my end, but I need to address it since people are talking about it.
Okay. What to do to address that?
Yeah. So if anybody hears the echo, just exit the broadcast and then come back in, and it should fix it. It's probably a StreamYard thing. But yeah, I know technology's been a little funky. I mean, my whole power went out this morning for no reason. Internet, everything. But yeah, I don't hear the echo on my end. Usually I do, if there is an echo. So it could just be the transmission of the data between us and them. So if you hear it, try to exit back out and come back in. It should solve it. Yeah. So, talk about the eclipse stuff that's coming up, because is it, how do you like look at eclipses? Because in my opinion, whenever I hear like, oh, it's eclipse season that's happening, to me that like usually triggers, oh, it's going to be high emotion. Like it's going to feel very intense. So what do you kind of get as the vibe for the eclipse season that's coming up, or the first one that we're going to be experiencing?
Well, this first one that we're going to be experiencing, I was actually looking at it this morning and I was really kind of excited about it. Just because Pluto is in sextile and trine from Capricorn with this full moon that's happening in Taurus. So it is a full moon, right? And so our emotions will be more heightened. However, because of where the nodes are, and I don't want to go into like too much detail about explaining the whys of coming to this conclusion because it'll take a long time, but looking at this eclipse, we have Pluto in trine with this full moon eclipse. We have Venus.
I'm going to pause you for 1 second. I'm going to totally cut you off. They're saying it's your echo. So there's something going on either with your volume, or you need to turn down maybe an echo that's happening on your side. I'm not quite sure. So here's what I'm going to do, because I'm going to also ask you to exit out and come back in, because it might solve it. Okay. I'll pull our card of destiny while you go out and come back in.
Okay.
All right, perfect. And then we'll pick back up with eclipses, and we're going to talk about Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So, all right, beautiful. Let's try that. All right. Well, thanks for letting me know that the echo was there, because I don't hear it on my end. And maybe some of you heard it, some of you didn't. If she wasn't echoing, can you let me know so I know it wasn't a problem all across the board? So she'll be back in a second. Let's do our card of destiny of what it is likely going to feel. I saw you jump out. Okay. Oh, the Queen of Hearts is our card for this week. It says the heart suit teaches us that emotional balance and harmony within ourselves and in life is the key to happiness. This queen is asking now if there is balance between what you give and what you are given and what you receive. Are you giving too much to others, putting them before you? If so, maybe it's time to change that behavior, as this queen is more suited to give from a place of overflowing fulfillment. So it's kind of asking you, are you giving from your full cup or not? This is the crown of love and compassion. If you feel that your needs are not being met, perhaps now is the time to change that by creating the space for others to give to you. Dream of what you wish to have and imagine the crown of this queen as your own. If you are considering a career in the healing arts, this is confirmation. All right. So I love this because it talks about like giving to others from your very full cup and not giving to people from you just running on fumes. Because when you give from a full place, then you can actually give more from your authentic self and from your heart. Because if you're running on low and your cup is not full and you're trying to give to other people, you could just get angry and frustrated. And we know so far, based on the energy we've talked about, that it is not the week to be angry because there's going to be so much anger and frustration that we want to make sure we're filling our own cup, charging our own battery, especially this week and next week. And it actually goes in alignment with what that spark action was for this week. You know, what action you can take, knowing what you know now about the energy. The question is, if you could manifest anything, what would it be? So really kind of thinking, if I'm the queen and I could have anything I want, what would I manifest? All right. So let's see if we can bring Shanna back on and see if the echo is gone.
Let's hope it's gone.
I don't know, because we'll hear in the comments, people will tell us if it's echoing or not. Yeah, they're thinking maybe it's your speaker doing a feedback thing or a microphone thing. So
it could be. Sure. It could very well be. So I changed it. I have an external speaker that I use, but I changed it to my internal computer one now. So hopefully you guys don't hear that echo. Hopefully.
We're gonna find out in a second, because it's still there, they said. Yeah. I'm trying to think another workaround. Do you want to try to do it from like a cell phone?
I mean, I can try. Let me see.
They said it's better. They said it's better.
Well, that's good. Let's see.
Oh, Alan's saying it's resolved, so let's keep going.
Okay, well, hopefully it's resolved. I don't hear it on my end, so.
Okay, either do I. So, okay, beautiful. We don't know. And it's the energy. The energy is big this week, so we're just going to keep going.
I was looking at that as we logged on. I'm like, oh, this will be interesting because it's Aquarius ascendant right now. So, yeah, things are going to get a little weird.
Yes, I feel that. Okay, so we were talking about eclipse season, and you were saying that it's like a full moon, right? So the energy is really big. So kind of, is it basically, we could say, in essence, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not an astrologer, is an eclipse like a full moon on steroids, or like a full moon times 100? Like, is that kind of how we can equate this energy that we're headed into?
Yes, exactly. And so when it's only a partial, like I don't want to say only a partial eclipse, right? Because they're all powerful in their own rights. The fact that we have Pluto involved with this one in a positive aspect, it's getting really deep and understanding the future that we want to manifest, because this is where the North nodes will be transiting for the next 18 months, starting in January, right? So, but right now, this eclipse, because it's out of sign from the nodes, to me, as I was looking at this, in the sense that I got from this, because the nodes are finishing their transit in Gemini and Sagittarius, this is the ending of an old cycle before we begin the new cycle that's coming up. So to me, that's what this is. And the fact that Venus is in trine with Uranus exactly at this full moon by degree, this is going to be very powerful in the Capricorn area of our life as well, because both Pluto and Venus are in trine with those planets up in Taurus. This is so powerful. This is really getting deep and understanding what you need to let go and what you want to bring forward with you. That's what this tells me. And this is the ending of an old cycle. So if we remember back, if people's memories can go back that far, right, to 2003 and 2004, this is the last time the nodes were here in Taurus and Scorpio. And then in 2012 to 2014, they were reversed. So the North node was in Scorpio. So there's definitely some themes that are coming to an end with that old cycle. You're shaking your head.
Oh, I mean, it's so funny because like astrology, I don't understand how people could like ever say astrology is bogus, because I'm sitting here doing the math and I'm like, oh yeah, that's when I graduated college and went on to just do like full-time work, right? And then the second timeline, I'm like, oh yeah, I switched jobs and like a huge career shift. Of course, like things are, oh my gosh, astrology is just amazing. So give us those time frames again. You said what, 2002, 2003, and then
2003, 2004, and then 2012 through 2014.
Okay.
So depending on what was going on for you at those times, especially 2003, 2004, you can see a repeat of energies, but because the outer planets are all in different signs, because you've grown as a person over that time frame, you're going to see it manifest in different ways, right? Similar energy, probably different ways, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I'll give a real life example, and I talked about it at the top of the show today, is I've been, and this is going to be very personal, I'm just going to be very blunt about it. I've been doing a lot of work with people that just kind of want like a one and done psychic reading, like, hey, tell me what to do, right? And I'll tell you, this energy this year is like, Dallisa, what are you doing? Like, are you actually helping people? And so I've had to do a lot of soul searching and asking myself a lot of questions around, what is my career? What am I doing? How am I showing up in the way that I know this gift was meant to be used? And so that's why I talked about, like, you know, are you stuck from point A to point B? Like, what are you doing? Like, so I'm in the process of shifting that energy, which is exactly what those themes were for me in those years that you described. Was like, knowing what I know now, how am I going to shift into what I actually know I need to be doing? And this is now the third time, you know, right now in 2021, where that energy is manifesting in that way. So just want to share that as a personal example of how that energy has worked for me. And maybe people will hear that and go, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way. But I guess it depends, right, where it hits in their chart, like what house. And so it could be that it's a love relationship thing, or it could be a money thing, or whatever it is. But mine seems to be related to career.
Well, too, what you're doing every single day, right? Because of how your chart is set up. So what you're doing, where you're showing up in service for other people, how you're showing up in service.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did look at my chart the other day. I forgot about that. Yes, it's all aligning. So astrology is here to stay, folks. Jump on board. Anything else about eclipses that you want to mention? So when does this eclipse season officially start, or are we already kind of in the energy of it?
We're really already in it since this new moon, because we're in the lunation cycle that this full moon eclipse happens in, right? So we're already in it. There's already been probably fated karmic conversations that have happened. Oh, I hear an echo. Yep, I hear it.
Oh, it's the energy. Listen, folks, like, we are in it. We're knee deep in this.
Yeah.
But maybe StreamYard will stabilize here in a moment. And people, everybody watching, whether you're watching live or you want to, if you're watching the replay and you want to comment below, you know, the years that Shanna shared. So what was going on in your life? And do you feel like that pattern is coming back up again? So you said 2002 to 2004?
2003 to 2004. Yeah.
And then 2012 to 2014?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what was going on in your life in those same pattern that is now showing up here? So you could just say love, money, relationship, work, whatever you want to say is a theme. But how's the feedback? Is it better?
Hope so.
We're just going to keep going. All right.
So you're asking about Thanksgiving, and I noticed that I'm going to take out my handy dandy calendar here and look at this. And I did notice that on the 23rd, so Thanksgiving, correct me if I'm wrong, Thanksgiving is the 25th this year, right?
I think it's the 25th, yeah. And I'm going to type notes into the live chat in case people are having trouble hearing you.
Okay. So we have the sun coming conjunct the south node, and this will be the final time that the sun conjuncts the south node here in Sagittarius. So there's a big release happening, a big letting go, a karmic release of this area of our lives, because, you know, this is at 1 degree of Sagittarius, and the sun is beginning its transit here, and we're going to have another total solar eclipse coming up in December, right? But for now, the sun is with the south node here at 1 degree, so the node is finishing its transit here, and so this is almost like a culmination, right? But it's a big release point, and so this full moon, this new moon eclipse that's happening in Sagittarius is definitely a culmination and of really the next 9 years of this area of our lives with Sagittarius. Like, we are ending one cycle and we're going to begin a new one. So it's definitely a karmic release point, if you will.
And the new cycle, as I'm typing notes out to everybody in the live chat, and here's Frankie. Miss Frankie's running around like a crazy lady this morning. When you say one cycle is ending, a new cycle is beginning, is it in the same area of life? So is it like the feeling of, like, for me, okay, I'm done with maybe more superficial work? Not to say that my work, it was meaningful, but like transitioning. So then the new cycle, would that would that be in alignment with, and here's what I know I'm doing next? Like, does that make sense, the question?
That makes absolute sense. And that's exactly what this energy is bringing up.
Okay. So people in the comments that are saying like major relationship issues that they're going through, they have career changes that they've experienced. So it's like that karmic release and the letting go of those pieces of their life that they're experiencing these themes in. But they can expect now on the flip side that the doors will actually start to open in that regard then too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, that's good news.
Right.
We have to get to the point. So the point was the 23rd, right?
Yeah. So the Sun and South Node conjunction is happening on the 23rd. And then on the 4th, we're going to be having the final eclipse in Sagittarius. And it's a total solar eclipse. Yeah. Yep.
Man, these solar eclipses in December, I'm telling you, because the one hit me last year directly on my birthday, December 14th. And this year, I know I mentioned that to you when we talked before, but it's like, are you kidding me? So, but I have felt, and let me know how you feel about this. I feel like November and December are like the hallmark exclamation point firework months of the entire year. And so which scares me to even say that out loud, right? Because we've been sitting here with this energy feeling like, oh my God, we got through 2020 thinking 2021 was going to be better. Now we're in 2021 feeling probably a lot of that Uranus square Saturn, old versus the new, tradition versus rebellion, like feeling all that this year.
Yeah.
And now we're like, you gotta be kidding me, because I think people are so stretched and they're just so fragile and frustrated and angry that saying to you out loud and to everybody watching that November and December are these firework months, it's a little bit concerning to me, a lot concerning actually, because it feels like people are going to blow, especially as they get closer to the holidays.
Well, okay, so yeah, and we have on Christmas, we have Venus conjunct Pluto, exact, on Christmas. So yes, there's going to be very deep, very profound, very intense transformations. Now, with the final square between Saturn and Uranus coming in December as well, I mean, that's towards the end of December, middle end of December, I was watching how they run. And so Uranus is retrograde. When Uranus is retrograde via transit or, in a natal chart especially, what happens is people themselves become very disruptive in their own lives. They will disrupt the status quo, but it's needed right now. People are feeling the burden of the limitation of Saturn in this area of our lives. And where Uranus is, they're craving change. They're wanting liberation. They're wanting freedom. And that's what Uranus brings. So people will suddenly, if they haven't made these changes yet, they will liberate themselves and they will do it all at once. And so exactly, it's such intense energy at this last corridor of 2021, but it's needed change because we can't sustain what we're doing. We can't keep going this way.
Yeah. So everybody listening to this right now, what I feel energetically is you're going to be asked to change whether you do it willingly and in the flow in a vibration of surrender and grace, or you're going to do it kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Because I really don't see people getting into 2022, like quarter one of 22, without having major things shift and change in their lives. Right. And so the energy is here either way. Yeah. And so how you are going to take that and embrace that and use it for your own personal transformation, for growth, for humanity, whatever it is you're going to use this energy for, I would say it's here anyway. You might as well try to do something good with it because like Annette said, I hope cooler heads will prevail. I don't think everyone's going to have that approach, but you as an individual having a human experience, you can choose to have the cooler head.
Yeah.
You could choose to smile at strangers. You could choose to do something as an act of kindness, anonymously. You could choose to do that. Mm-hmm. But most people are not listening to this broadcast right now. I wish they were. I wish everybody was, because we could help so many more people.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are not aware. And so they're going to take this as their breaking point. And then what are they going to do with their breaking point? But by you even just being in the aura, in the circle of the conversation, you now know that that's what people are going to be going through these next few months. And so you don't have to take it personally. We should never take it personally. But there's going to be so much activation with the energy and so much of that, revolting, revolutionary energy, which is just, it's going to change everyone. So how you choose to move through it is up to you. I will get off my soapbox.
We do actually, too, with this full moon eclipse, we do have a manifestation point coming up very soon after the new year in February. Because I was looking at the astrology for 2022 to get my videos out for next year for each sign. And February 6th through the 16th, you might want to write this down in your calendars. The nodes will be at 27 degrees of Scorpio and Taurus. And so we're also on the 16th of February having a full moon squaring that.
February 16th, what's the energy for that? I'm going to put it in our notes.
It's a manifestation of the energy of this eclipse.
Oh, wow. So let me get this straight and make sure I understand. So what we're going to be experiencing now for probably the next month, I would say, through the eclipses that are coming up. So whatever we experience this next month is going to hit us again and come in more or a more full circle come like mid-February. Is that accurate?
This full moon, so this full moon eclipse, this Taurus area of our lives, the nodes in January are going to shift into Taurus and Scorpio, and then in February hit this exact point that's been sensitized, right? So whenever we have an eclipse, that point specifically is now sensitized. And so anytime anything passes over it, squares it, conjuncts it, it's going to manifest something that has to do with what the eclipse was about, wherever this shows up in your chart. So on February 16th, we have another full moon, a full Leo moon, squaring at 27 degrees exactly. So this is kind of a manifestation point of this full moon eclipse that we're having next week.
Ah, okay.
It's the beginning of the manifesting. And so it's going to be wild. I mean, with the North Node with Uranus, whatever is happening is going to happen quickly. It's going to happen in very wild, weird, synchronistic ways. And it's going to happen very, very quickly. But this is where we're going towards. This is what we want with the North Node. Yeah.
Rip the Band-Aid off. KTL is asking a good question. Can you explain what it means when Venus and Pluto conjunct? You mentioned that. So maybe talk about what that means and then what energy that comes with, because you'd mentioned it previously.
Right. So Venus and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn specifically, this can see really interesting developments in terms of money. The corporations, Capricorn also rules the government. It rules CEOs, people in charge, like matriarchs or patriarchs of the family. And so with Venus and Pluto conjunct, this could be a mix of energy in terms of our money, our materials, our possessions, our relationships with people. Could be dying, right? Like not like a literal death. I don't want to say that, but we could finally be divesting of something in this area of our life, or getting deeper and creating more profound relationships with people, right? Because Venus is relational in her energy. So it's definitely going to be very interesting. I haven't looked at the aspects that are being made other than that on Christmas, but it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, so that energy is Christmas. Listen, folks, we've got the eclipse season, then we have the Uranus square Saturn, then we're headed into the direct hit of America's Pluto return. Like, just take a big deep breath, because it's going to be a wild ride, my friends. But conjunct doesn't that mean that they're close together?
That means they're very close together, and the energy is blended together, right? So this could see some people, on Christmas, though, I know how this is manifesting in my chart. So I'm hoping that everyone else has a better manifestation of this. I've been having some issues with the parents, so we'll leave it at that. But this could definitely see either people finally cutting away and cutting out whatever this Capricorn area of your life is, or getting deeper with it and being very honest. I mean, this is a very honest energy with Pluto. So, and Venus is our relations, our monies, what we value, right? It's not just, what we value in terms of possessions. This is our personal values as well. So definitely there could be massive transformations across this area where Pluto and Venus are conjunct in our charts.
That's interesting because, there are people that have a certain perspective or opinion that there are a lot of lies. Now, I'm not going to go into what sections of life it's in, but there's, frankly, I've heard a variety of them, right?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that there is this big energy around truth and what's being said and government and money and all that stuff. So hold on tight. Before I let you go, I want you to tell people where to find you. That'll be in a second, but I have one more question I need to ask you. So what based off of what you've seen, what you've felt, what do you think Thanksgiving is going to be like this year?
I don't necessarily think that it's going to look the way it usually does. I don't necessarily think, Sun with the South Node, I don't necessarily know if people will be traveling as much for Thanksgiving. There could be some issues surrounding that. Delayed plans or having to let it go and take a loss, right, on something like that. I mean, that's what I'm looking at as far as that Sun conjunct the South Node. So
yeah, we talked about it backstage before we started, and I said, listen, I've got Thanksgiving plans. I said, so we got to talk about Thanksgiving because my interpretation of the energy feels like there's going to be a disruption to travel. And I shared, I said, I have plans. And I said, I don't think they're going to happen.
Yeah.
And to me, it feels more like it could be part of that revolutionary energy of people saying, no, I'm taking my power back. This is what I'm going to do as a result of it. And it feels to me like people are going to wait until a big pain point and trigger then, detonate then, because they want to create the biggest impact with what they're doing. And so we're going to see how it plays out. But I agree with you. I think travel and restricted movement are energy themes that I keep coming in. And maybe it's another lockdown. There's something that feels restrictive.
It's restrictive, but I don't necessarily see. I'm leaning more towards labor strikes. That's where I'm leaning with it, instead of being locked down or things like that. I really think it's actually going to come down to individuals, deciding enough is enough. And yeah, I don't want to go into too, like I've said a lot already. So I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to get yanked from this platform. So yeah, it's just fascinating. We're all going to see how it plays out. You have been delightful and full of really good information. Please let people know. We've got your Instagram scrolling at the bottom. Please make sure you go follow Shanna. But tell us, what do you have going on? Where can people find you?
They can find me at, on Instagram and on Facebook at moonapogee_astrology. And they can find me at www.apogeeofthemoon.com. I also work for Heather, shameless plug. She is a great teacher, mentor, and friend. And I am a TA for her Cosmic Academy as well. And that's how I met Yelena, actually. So thank you, Yelena. I'll give a big shout out to her for putting me in touch with you. I am so grateful for the women, especially, that are coming into my life right now. You are all amazing, beautiful people. Yeah, for sure.
Yay. So make sure you go check out the website, do the follow on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. We're going to have you back on another show. So get ready.
Right.
Thanks, Shanna. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. All right. Okay, well, how do y'all feel about this energy? Drop a comment, let me know either in the live chat or down below in the comments. How do you feel about this? What do you think is going to happen for Thanksgiving? I'd love to hear your prediction. So get those comments coming in. I read every comment. So let me know, what do you think is going to happen this year for Thanksgiving? Give me your prediction. We did the card of destiny in the middle of the show. So if you didn't catch that, make sure you rewatch the video and check out the card of destiny. I will post in the links, the comments of this video, again, the links for the application to see if you're a good fit for one of my transformation clients. And also the gratitude meditation that I'll be leading everybody through on November 18th. That is free and it will be here on YouTube. So just make sure you set your reminders so you can attend and share the link with your friends, your family. Let's make it a huge meditation on YouTube. I think it'd be a lot of fun and a lot of collective energy, which will help us to focus on our gratitude. So just like that spark question was earlier, and I've already said this a couple of times, but I really want you to think through this week because it's a lot of energy. And remember, as she said, it's going to come back and hit us again in mid-February. So use this energy wisely. So if you could manifest anything right now, what would it be? If you could manifest anything right now, what would it be? And remember to use your heart instead of your anger. Come from a place of love, a place of compassion, and ask yourself, how could I surrender into the flow even more? What could I release control of even more? It's a big, bold week ahead, a couple months ahead. Stick with us, Spirit and Spark. We're here to help you. We're here to help guide you through this. You do not have to do this alone. But as I said at the beginning of the broadcast today, if you are feeling really sad, down, depressed, and you've been feeling like you need help, this is your push from the universe to get the help that you need. Okay. So whether it's a therapist, a coach, calling resources that are available to you, do what you need to do. Take care of yourself. You are not alone. So just come back here. We'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow for the YouTube patron card poll. I'm doing my meditation on the 18th. You're invited to. So please don't isolate yourself. This is not the time to isolate yourself. Okay. So please know that I send you so much love from the bottom of my heart. And we're going to do this. We're here for a reason. Let's not shy away from it. And let's spread as much kindness and grace as we possibly can, giving to ourselves that energy and then extending it outward to the people in the communities around us. All right. You got this. We'll see you soon. All right. Bye, everybody.